Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Hopefully all this is working by the looks of it. Fantastic. Lovely to see you all here. Let me just... this is who I am. I'm Gavin Weber, and I'll start again. This is Ask the Cheeseman, episode 161, where you can ask your home cheese making questions. Lots of things happening. Let me just have a look at the chat. Yes, we got so many people on there. It's absolutely lovely to see. Good morning, everybody, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Just some shout outs this morning. We've got lots of new YouTube members and patrons, so hopefully I'm not going to crucify these names, so we'll see how this goes. We've got a big hello to Sveen Sergedsen. I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you, Sveen. Banana Man 246. Thank you, Banana Man. BRF Bowdy. Who else we got? We got Strong Bear 27. Thank you, Strong Bear. We've got Alan Cleater. I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you, Alan. And Jen Dreamer. They're all the new YouTube members this week. We've also got lots of new patrons as well. So new patrons this week. Doug Morash. Thank you, Doug. David Sloan Esquire. Nice one. Thank you, David. Just Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. And Hayden Jutsrisa. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yes, thank you, everybody, for your kind support on YouTube memberships and Patreon. Let me just kill that light before we have a seizure. Okay. So I was going to get into what videos. I'll get to the super chat in a minute. Thank you, AA, for your kind $10 super chat. We'll fix that up in a second. So videos coming up. We've got Appenzeller, which I'm still working on. Still washing the rind for that. I really want to include the taste test in the video itself. So that one will be a little bit delayed, but that'll be fine. I've also editing yesterday the Great Cypriot Cheese Fry-Off. This is a sponsored video by made by Cow. So I'm comparing two different milks, cold pressed, unhomogenized milks, one Jersey, one Frisian. So and making a cheese that the name cannot be mentioned, starts with a H, and it's Cypriot. So you figure it out. Also today I'm making a quick mozzarella update video. I looked back at the previous one. It's a very popular video, and the quality and the audio, and I've actually missed one of the steps. So yeah, bit of a worry. So I'm going to be producing that today, and also today we're going to be making a quick Christmas cheese. So just like a lot of people here in Australia, I don't know if they do elsewhere, make this make a Christmas cake or Christmas pudding, and they soak it in brandy, and they have lots of mixed fruit and peel and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to try and recreate a quick and dirty Christmas cheese thing. So that should be good fun. Okay, so that's all the updates. We've got so many people online, but first of all, I know we'll get to that chat in a minute. So let me just have a quick look. First person on, say g'day to Cease. G'day, Cease. We've got Shay, Bruce, California Jones, Nicola, Josip, I think that's how you pronounce it, Manuel, Judy. We've got Sticks. G'day, Sticks. We've got John. We've got Karen. G'day, Karen. Lovely to see you. We've got Patricia. We've got Leticus. I think that's how you say it. Thanks, Leticus. We've got Herb, Percy, Kim Weber, who's moderating, of course. She'll sort any naughty boys and girls out. And also got Megan, Frederic, RY, Irene, Yep. We've got AA and Anna. G'day, Anna Marie. Lovely to see you. We've got Queso, Artizo. Oh, I can't even pronounce that. Renacia. Sorry, my Spanish is shocking. I got Joseph. We got Martin and Kevin. Lovely to see you, Kevin. We've got Stephen, William, Vern, Crow Armour. I think that's how you say it. Annette, Linus, Shannon, and that's about all the new ones. Oh, Ali. G'day, Ali. Can't speak Arabic, so you're going to have to do it in English, please, mate. And Diego, Bill, we've got a few others, Doc, Rachel, and we'll get on with some of the questions, shall we? But hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. It says we've got 93 on the stream, which is absolutely fabulous. So let's get to the super chat. First question off the bat. Is this going to work today? Oh, it is. Fantastic. We got some word wrap going on. That didn't happen the other day. Whew. Okay, so AA asked, where in the US would you suggest somebody buying hardware and cultures? Any suggestions? I think a few people have actually answered it already. I have a, if you have a look in the description below, there's a couple of places. So I have a US Amazon store where I get a little bit of an affiliate commission, and you can go and have a look. I've got all of the cheese making products, well, the vast majority that we normally sell on our store here in Australia. So if you click on one of those links, I get a commission, of course. But yeah, I've put a collection together for all the stuff on Amazon. I'm actually working on some affiliates with a few companies over in the US because at the moment we're still not shipping there. So I'd like to be able to service the curd nerd community somehow. So that is a suggestion I do. There is a link down there, Gav's Amazon store. So go and have a look in the description in the YouTube video. I hope that helps you out. Thank you for your kind $10 super chat. Okay, next question. Well, the next other question. Let's have a look. There are all lots of hellos. So cool. Thank you very much. Oh, here we go. Stephen's got a question. Stephen says, hello from Melbourne. Hello. We're in Melbourne-ish. Greater Melbourne, anyway. Hope you are both well. Question about the Shabrints. When you opened the cheese, it was vac packed. What point did you do that? So after about a month of maturing in the maturation box, so I made it have a natural rind to start with. I decided, because it was very hard to maintain the rind. So thanks for that super chat. I'll get to that one in a sec. Very hard to maintain the rind. It was light, turn off. Very hard to maintain. So it was getting so much mold so quickly, it started to crack on the surface. So after a month, I decided, right, that's it. This is a high maintenance. So I didn't have the time to sort that out, so what I basically did was vacuum pack it, just checked on it every month to make sure it was okay. It wasn't off-gassing and making the bag expand and all that sort of stuff. And it didn't, and that was cool. So didn't have any issues with it. And it turned out quite nice, as you saw. So, Steve, hopefully that answered your question. Okay. Next question is the super chat that just came in. If I can find it. Where is it? Boop. It's from AA again. Another AA one. It says, take my cheese, take my money, Muse. My wife does not appreciate the extra fridge, but I'll convert it to the Curdle. Mate, you're a champion. Thank you, AA. Appreciate it. And thanks for the kind $10 super chat. Yes, I did take your money. Thank you. Goes to a good cause. Keeps the videos rolling in, that's for sure. Next question is somebody said, can you explain what Christmas is? Look, even if it's obviously, if you don't know what Christmas is, it's a Christian holiday. So yeah, people celebrate the birth of Jesus. I'm either here nor there. I just celebrate the day of giving, so that's all I do. But yeah, you go and look it up on Google. Next question is from, if I can find it. No, done that one. Sorry, there's lots of questions coming in, obviously. This one's from RY. Is the pre-packaged Parmesan cheese that seems fresh the same as the dried looking wedge? It depends on what company you get it from. If it just says Parmesan, obviously it's not authentic Parmigiano Reggiano from Italy. It's a copy, I suppose. I won't say counterfeit because, you know, people call me nasty names and says I was a counterfeiter. But yeah, look, you can, if it's got the taste, I would buy a wedge of Parmigiano Reggiano and just grate it yourself. That grated stuff in a packet, in a plastic bag, it's not really the real deal, unless it's got the logo on it, the official Parmigiano Reggiano logo on it. And if it is, then yeah, it's just grated from a big wheel. But yeah, a wedge is easier. It keeps well. Just keep it in some plastic wrap, keep it in the fridge, and it seems to go all right. I've done that before without any issues at all. But yeah, beware counterfeits that just say Parmesan. They'll be Parmesan style cheeses. Okay, hope that answered your question. Croamar says a jalapeno cheese making video would make me so happy. Kim, if you haven't already done so, please, darling, I'm sure that you can pop the link up to the jalapeno cheese video that I've already created for you. There you go. How's that? Next question is from, oh, I don't know if this is going to fit. Let's have a, oh, it's kind of nearly working. This is from Rachel. Says, hi, Gavin. Can you recommend the most useful store cupboard of molds and cultures? About 5 or so. Often when I'm deciding what to make, I'm constrained by the mesophilic culture I gave. What are the most versatile top 5 to buy? They're pricey. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, indeed, Rachel, that's a good question. Let me just see if I can, I'll bring up our store, and this is not, you know, nobody is obligated, obviously, go and have a look at my shop, but I will go to the cultures section and just rattle off a few of the ones that we use. Let me see if this is going to work. Let's share the screen. Right, let me just get rid of the question. So, is this working? Is the question? No. No, all it says is ask the Cheeseman. This is, let's have a look. Is that working? Sometimes this software works, sometimes it does not. And today is one of those days. Let's have a look. All I can see, well, that's not going to work. That's no good at all, is it? Yeah, that doesn't seem to be sharing the second screen properly. Let's try it again. Share that, share, and let's share that. And let's go there, and hopefully it all works. Let me have a look. Oh, there we go. So we've got a screen. So sorry, Rachel, and sorry everybody on the stream. This software sometimes is not playing the game. So basically what I would get, Flora Danica, definitely here, which is a good aromatic mesophilic. It's great for making Havarti, Gouda, some Swiss cheeses, Edam, blue cheese, Camembert, anything where you want to have a buttery texture, that sort of thing, works perfectly. So definitely recommend having some of that in your pantry. A basic mesophilic with the two normal strains. This is MO30 by Sacco, but there's MA11 is another one. So you're looking for Lactococcus lactis, a subspecies Cremoris, and Lactococcus lacus, subspecies Lactis, is a good all-rounder as a meso. That's the one I used most of the time. I now, for cheddars and stuff, I use this other one called MA4001 by Choose It, and it has actually 4 different cultures, including a thermophilic as well, and that makes a fantastic tasting cheddar style cheese. So that one, and then obviously as far as cultures go, you haven't asked about molds, is a thermophilic. So I use a good all-rounder thermophilic. This one's got 3 thermophiles in it. This is MOT92, which is also by Sacco, but there are a few others out there. This one contains 1, 2, 3 strains, 4 strains of culture, 2 mesophilic and, 1 mesophilic and 3 different thermophilic cultures. So Lactobacillus helveticus, Lactobacillus delbrecki bulgaris, and Streptococcus thermophilus, as well as Lactococcus lactis. So they're the 4 main cultures. So you've got an aromatic, I'll go back to me, an aromatic, 2 mesophiles, and a thermophile. They're the main ones you'll get through most of the cheese recipes in the book. So in my book and any other book that asks for cultures. So, and all the molds and stuff are there as well, but you can pop over to littlegreenworkshops.com.au if you want to buy stuff in Australia. We're only shipping within Australia at the moment. Hopefully that answers your question, Rachel. Okay, next question, moving right along, and I don't know if I'll ever get to them all, but we'll see how we go. Leviticus, Leheticus says, correct pronunciation, good sir. You'll be surprised how many people get it wrong, and when they get it wrong, they usually get it very wrong, but not you. Thank you very much. I try my best. Anyway, even though my pronunciation of anything other than English, and sometimes I even get confused with English, but I'm in Spain. I need subtitles in Spanish, please. Thank you. I think there are actually auto subtitles in YouTube now. You should be able to just turn them on. I think there's a little cog wheel, and you can go to auto CC, and it should translate into any language. I think they have that feature there now. Anyway, unless I haven't got it turned on, let me just turn it on. Let me just check on YouTube. Can I do... no, it won't let me change it when I'm live already. So, yeah, don't worry about that. It's not doing it. Okay, Sticks has a question. Says, I've only got half a tablet of rennet left. What's the difference between liquid and tablet rennet and how much liquid is equivalent to the tablet? Well, good question, because it's all different. Rennet is based on rennet coagulation strength is based on this thing called IMCU, or International Milk Coagulation Units. So the rennet that I use is called Chimax Plus, and we sell it as liquid rennet, and it's got an IMCU of 200. So I use 2.5 milliliters of that rennet at that strength to coagulate 10 liters of milk in about 40 minutes odd. Tablets have different strengths. I've seen from Rs 50, which is a French rennet tablet. One tablet does 50 liters of milk, hence the name from Rs 50, and it has an IMCU strength of 2,200. Mad Millie tablets, they have little powder, little tablets as well, rennet tablets, and one tablet coagulates 4 liters of milk, so it has an IMCU strength of about 60. Or greater than 60. So they're all different. It depends on what the packet says. So I can't tell you without looking at the packet because it'll have something written on it. So go and check that out, Six. Hopefully that'll work for you. Okay. Kylie has a request. Gavin, can you make a Tallagio style cheese? I actually do have a Tallagio mold, but I have never made it, so I will write it down. It is a difficult cheese to make. You have to use raw milk, and I will have to get my hands on some more made by cow milk, which is the closest thing to raw milk that I can use. But anyway, thank you, Kyle, for the recommendation. Where else we got here? Lots of people saying thanks, and thanks to you too. Here we go. Here's a question. This is from Asma. It says, good day, Gavin. For low heat pasteurization, I read that air in contact must be 3 degrees more than 53, and we have to put a lid on to raise the pasteurization temperature 3 degrees instead. Not sure what you're talking about. Kim, can you pop up the video for low temperature long hold pasteurization, please, for asthma? And that'll show you all the steps and procedures for pasteurizing your own raw milk at home. So hopefully that helps. And thanks for your question. Next question is from Jack says, what is the most delicious cheese you could imagine? Goodness me. All the cheeses. I love them all. It doesn't really matter. The only thing I won't stoop to is processed cheese, and I just don't like that because it's an abomination as far as I'm concerned. It's terrible. Okay. Kevin's got a question. Says, Gav, who makes MOT 92? So answer to that, Kevin, is Sacco. It's an Italian brand. And can I use Thermo C in place of it? Oh, good question. Thermo C. Let's see if I can find my culture list. Hang on, I'll just find it. Where the heck is it? Where do I put it? There it is. Rightio. So can I share the screen? Let's see if this works this time. Okay, so we're looking for, what do we say? Thermo C. Thermo C Type C by Abiasa is ST and LH. It's only got 2 of those 4 strains. But yes, you can use that for Emmentaler, Gruyere, Swiss, and Romano. So yeah, that'll work, Kevin. So yeah, no problems at all. Back to me, get rid of that. And hopefully that works. And we'll get rid of that. So yeah, so you can use that, Kevin, no problems at all. So it would probably taste fairly similar. Let me have a look. What's the next question is from Ingrid. And Ingrid asks, good morning, Gavin. Good morning, Ingrid. I've been maturing my cheese in a fridge as I don't have a cheese cave yet, and Canberra is getting quite hot. How bad is that? Will they come out okay? Okay, so hopefully it's a normal fridge, kitchen fridge, 4 degrees Celsius. It will take quite a long time to mature. The lactic bacteria goes dormant at about 5 to 4 degrees Celsius, and they really slow down the development. They still will develop, but it just takes a long, long time. If you can get a cheese fridge sooner rather than later, then you'll be able to make a very broad range of cheeses if you can get it set at 13 degrees using an external thermostat. So they will turn out okay, but it will be very slow in maturing. So thank you for your question, Ingrid. Patricia's got a question, and thank you very much, Patricia. Says, got a bit of blue infection on the rind of saffron-infused cheese. It's under control now, but still in the cracks. Will it spoil the flavour of the whole cheese? Shouldn't do if it doesn't proteolysize the cheese. So if you can make sure that it doesn't get out of control and still you've washed it off the surface, you may get a little slight blue taste around where those cracks are. It won't permeate through the whole cheese because that saffron infused cheese with the I think it had peppercorns as well as the saffron was very strong, had a very strong flavor. So and really nice. I think I even had a little bit of a blue infection just in some of the pits on mine as well, but no discernible change in flavor from what it's supposed to be. So thanks for your question, Patricia. Stix has asked a question, have you ever created your own style of cheese based on an existing one? Sorry, not based on an existing one, and how was it? If not, what would you like to make and what would you call it? Well, I've got a few creations of my own, Stix, and if Kim can find the Petite Blue is one I've made up myself as I went along, and that turned out fantastic, and thousands of cheesemakers throughout the world have recreated that recipe. Also, another one, I'm not sure if it's original, but I made it up myself, and that was called Bloomy Goat Blue. Had a very subtle blue flavor, but it was an ash-coated goat's cheese that had a bloomy rind, and that tasted really, really nice as well. So there's 2 recipes that I've made myself, yeah, so it was good fun coming up with those recipes. I don't do it all the time. I'm trying to make as many cheeses as I possibly can before I pop my clogs. Not that that's going to happen anytime soon, but yeah, thank you very much for your question. Manuel says, can we make mozzarella from buffalo milk? Indeed. In fact, the traditional mozzarella di buffalo, I think that's how you pronounce it, is only made with buffalo milk. And if you get real buffalo milk mozzarella, it absolutely tastes amazing. It is the best mozzarella you can possibly get. So yeah, Manuel, let's go for it. If you got some buffalo milk, then you go for it. Okay. Megan's got a question and says, my Cotswold has a few weeks to mature and has gas in the bag. Should I repack it? Yeah, look, sometimes cheese and the cultures themselves off gas, they're gas producing cultures, some of them. It's just the cheese maturing. It's a living entity. So yeah, it will create a little bit of gas. Open it up, make sure it's clean, and then revac pack it again, and you shouldn't have any issues. Make sure that it smells okay. Hopefully it hasn't produced anything that is on the nose. If it is on the nose, then something bad's gone wrong. But Megan, you should be able to recover that and just backpack it. Okay. Next question's from Martin. Flying through these today. Martin says, hey, Gavin, is it normal for the rind on cheddar-style cheese to fade when vac-packed? Also, Is there a benefit to using clear cheese coating before vac packing? Thanks as always. A couple of good questions there, Martin. Yeah, look, the rind color does fade because you got to remember that the plastic prevents loss of moisture, so sometimes it'll go a little bit wider than what the rest of the cheese is. That does happen. Yes, you could use a clear cheese coating. So that PVA coating, I can't remember what the name of it. There's a technical name for it. But it's got an inhibitor, a mold growth inhibitor in it, which I can't remember the name of that either. But there's a mold inhibitor within it. And really, if you're going to use that, you might as well wax the cheese. So you can put this PVA coating over, and that locks in the moisture and kills any mold that comes in contact with it. And if you're going to vac pack it, it kind of, well, I suppose it's essentially like waxing anyway. So that's all pretty cool. But thank you for your question. Hopefully that answered it. Oh, we've got a super chat there. Let's get rid of that. And this is from Ruth. Let's fly over to Ruth's question. Hopefully it'll show everything, which it does. Thank you for your kind $20 US super chat. That's like $600 Australian, Ruth. I'm just joking, but that's a lot. Thank you so much. Ruth says, sorry I'm late. Hello, Gavin and Kim and Curd Nerds. I do have two questions. Do you use non-chlorinated water for washed curd? And is it okay if cheese is touching these in the ripening box? Touching these. Not sure what the extra bits are there, but I'll try and figure it out. Yes, I do use non-chlorinated water for washing curds for washed curd cheeses, like low acid ones like Gouda and Edam and Leodama and that sort of thing. Colby, I think you wash the curds for Colby as well. So yes, definitely I use non-chlorinated water for that because the lactic bacteria still need to do some magic. They need to convert some of the lactose still, Ruth. So yeah, definitely I would not introduce chlorinated water in at that stage. Also, is there an issue if cheeses are touching in the ripening box? I think that's what you're saying there. If they're mold ripened cheeses, yeah, there is an issue. The mold grows together and the cheeses will stick together. If it's just what's the word? If they're just normal cheeses without mold growth, then they'll be fine. If they're blues, yeah, maybe best to get another ripening box. But yeah, thanks anyway, and hopefully that's answered your question. And Ruth, you've just done another super chat for $2. I'm not sure what that's for, but thank you so much. I can't see another message from you. Hopefully that's answered your question, but thanks, Ruth. Keep throwing the money. That's great. I love it. And it keeps the show on. Thank you so much. And glad to see you online. I know you're a little bit late there. Anyway, let's get back to some of the other questions that I haven't answered. Let's get back. I know where we were at. It's like 10 past 8 as far as the timeline goes. Yep, right. So I did Martin's question last. This one's from John, and John asks, how do you know a good mold from a bad one, and how do you control which one your cheese inherits? Okay, so you introduce a mold to a cheese when you make the cheese to give it a certain sort of flavor. So white molds, obviously, for Camembert Brie styly cheeses, called Penicillium candidum, and that's white. There's another one called Geotrichum candidum, and that's also white. A little bit of different smell, makes a different flavor. But white mold will grow in your cheese. If any other colored molds grow, not good. Not for those cheeses anyway. For blue mold cheeses, you're going to expect when you introduce a thing called Penicillium Roqueforti, it's a blue-green mold. There's another one called Penicillium glaucum, which is a green mold, and that's what you use in Gorgonzola. Penicillium Roqueforti is usually in most other blue cheeses. like Roquefort, of course, the famous sheep's milk cheese from France. Any other colours shouldn't really be there, but things like if you've seen the mould on my cheddar video, which, Kim, could you put that up? You'll see on a cloth banded cheddar, you get all sorts of colour moulds, greys, blacks, whites, well, hopefully not pink. Pink's a fluorescent mould, and that's not really good. Neither's yellow. Yellow moulds aren't the best either, but they won't hurt you per se. But yeah, you'll see all sorts of funky molds on those sorts of stuff. But yeah, thanks for your question. Okay. Trout says, how are the pups going? I don't know. You can't see Holly behind me, but for those who don't know, our puppy, dog, fully grown dog, Teddy, passed away 5 weeks ago. So yeah, the pups, plural, are not going so well, but Holly's going okay, and she's doing well. She's having a bit of a sleep in the chair behind me at the moment. But yeah, thanks for your question. Yeah, anyway. Next question is, this is from TPC. I won't say any of the rest. Just starting, what cultures would you get first? Thanks. I'm learning a lot from you. Cultures you get a mesophilic, get an aromatic mesophilic, and then a thermophilic, and then start with any cheese recipe you like. So those cultures are the 3 that I would get first. Very similar to what I said earlier on the stream. Somebody says, wow, what's wrong with the camera, Gav? Yeah, good question. There's some little sparkly artifact type things I can see on my screen. I don't know what's going on there, but I got to investigate after the stream. So sorry about that if there's something coming through that looks a bit strange. Other than that, you just got my lovely face. We got Gabrielle says, I made your cranberry cheese. It seems quite dry. I had lots of gas blowing up in the vac pack over the 3 months, and I repacked it. Is it supposed to be more creamy? I think that was the Wensleydale with cranberries. Wensleydale tends to be a bit of a crumbly sort of dry cheese, depending on where you get it from. But yeah, the cranberries will off gas. That's what they do. And that it did blow up the vac pack in mine as well. So, and is it supposed to be more creamy? Not so much. Not so much. What you could do is use the farmhouse cheddar, or the stir curd cheddar recipe that I've used for some of the cheeses. I think if you go and have a look at the video called Farmhouse Cheddar Blue, and don't put the Penicillium Roquefort in it, and use that as your base cheese for the cranberry cheese, it'll be more of a cheddar-y style, not a lot less crumbly as well, and not as creamy and not as dry as Wensleydale. But yeah, thanks for your question. Hopefully that answers it. This one's from Martin again. Martin's got lots of questions. I wonder about drying cheddar style cheeses. The sides seem to dry out, but the top and bottom seem to stay mottled beyond the recommended time, as in moist still. They should dry out fairly evenly. I turn during the drying period probably once every 6 hours. That seems to help. I use plastic mats, but when I find that the moisture is not leaving the top and bottom as quickly as it should be, I switch to bamboo mats that have been boiled to make sure there's no molds on them. So bamboo sushi mats. And that seems to wick away some of the moisture as well. And I change those out every 6 hours. I probably haven't mentioned that before, but yeah, I tend to do that occasionally if I notice that the cheese isn't drying top and bottom. So I use bamboo sushi mats. Tends to wick away some of the moisture. And yeah, it's works really well. But yeah, there we go. Next question is from Joseph. Says, is there any homemade soluble calcium sources you would recommend? Homemade. Yes, you can use a thing called Pickle Crisp, which is powdered calcium chloride, and it's 30% by weight 30% calcium chloride and 70% water, non-chlorinated water. Mix that up and you're good to go, ready to go. So the calcium chloride solution you'll get at cheese making shops is a 30% solution. So you can make those up yourself. Kevin says, what mold would I need to make cherv in a log shape? I'm glad you asked. Let me just see if I can find that for you, Kevin. And you can find something equivalent. Cheese making, just going to screen at number 2 in a second. If we've got them in stock, you'll need... Whoop. Right, hopefully this will work. Here we go, and there's me. Okay, so is this working? Is the question. Oh, it is. Finally, this is working properly. So the Caprino Fresco mold is what you're after. Something like this, a long log mold, and it'll give you logs like that. It is 14.5 centimeters high diameter. Top diameter is 7 centimeters, and bottom diameter 5.8, and the molds are stackable. But yeah, they works really well. So that's kind of what you go back there. So that's kind of what you're after, Kevin, that sort of thing, to make a cherv log mold. Or you can just roll the cheese yourself if you want to. But that mold really works, drains it well too, really drains the cheese well. Anyway, so let's get back to me. And thank you, Kevin. This one's from Tomas saying, I'm sending greetings from the Czech Republic. G'day, mate. Have you ever tasted cheeses? What? Steamed cheeses rolled into braids? No, I have not, but sounds very interesting. I have seen cheeses rolled into braids, as in like a pasta filata style, which is a stretch curd cheese. You'll find that quite often at places where you can buy mozzarella style cheeses. They'll do braids and stuff like that. They'll even coat it in things like what are they called? Black Nigella seeds, I think they're called, and sesame seeds and a whole bunch of other seeds, and they look really cool. So yeah, thanks for your question, Tomas. Next one, questions from Leonidas. And Leonidas says, hi, Gavin. You may remember my question in the last video you had with that couple where I asked them what cheese to try given that don't like cheese. Now I have some Gouda. What do I do with it? Eat it. Slice it, eat it, put it on a cracker and put it in your mouth. What else can you do with it? Have a look. Go to taste.com and have a look at a recipe. I'm sure there's lots of Gouda recipes, but yeah, I just use it on a cheese platter and use it. You can slice it, put it on sandwiches, you can toast it, you can do anything with it. It's a very nice cheese. I like it. Okay. Here's a question from, I think it's Johan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Johan says, love your videos. You have a very calming, therapeutic voice. Can you try Norwegian Gammelost? It's a special kind of aged cheese from the Viking age. I don't know if I have a recipe, but I'll write it down. Always good to have suggestions, but yeah, thank you, Johan. I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure that it may be a difficult recipe to find. Let me have a look. Kevin says, where did I find my Lauda mold from? The Lauda company in the Netherlands sent it to me, Kevin. If you go to that video, then there's a link. It's quite an expensive mold. I think some people have bought it, but yeah, it's not cheap because it's a commercial cheese making mold. meant to be used hundreds and hundreds of times, mainly in automated machinery. But yeah, it works well. It's a great little mold. Okay, so next question is from this one's from Drina. And Drina says, my feta sometimes goes slimy during brining. How can I prevent this? If you have a look at the, I think I made a video called Traditional Greek Feta. And it's made with 70% sheep's milk and 30% goat's milk. And Kim, if you can pop the link up in the chat on YouTube, that would be fantastic. Let me just think. The brine solution that I make for that feta is only a 10% brine solution, 10% saturation. Also, it has calcium chloride in it, and it also has a little bit of vinegar. And both the calcium chloride and the vinegar prevent a thing called calcium ion exchange, which it tends to suck the calcium ions out of the surface of the cheese and puts them into the brine. And that's bad for the cheese because it goes all slimy. So if you make sure that you've got a little bit of vinegar, and it says it in the recipe somewhere, in the brine recipe, and a little bit of calcium chloride, you will avoid having slimy feta. So great question. Thanks, mate. Anna says, can you recommend any European retailers for cheese making? No recommendations per se, but I know I Googled the other day and there are lots in France, lots in Germany, lots in the UK. There seem to be them, and quite a few in Italy as well, big ones. A lot of them tend to be for cheese manufacturers, not so much the home cheese maker, but there are a few out there. You'll just have to Google them. I don't have any recommendations per se, but I'm looking for affiliate partners. If anybody is in the cheese making world, then yeah, shoot me an email. Go to the About tab on my YouTube channel and shoot me an email. Be very happy to have a look at the products and see if I can recommend them. Okay. And Kim's already kind of answered that as well, said I'm looking into it. Let's have a look. Frederick, I've missed the gallery too. I didn't even set the timer. We'll have a look at the gallery in a second. Make sure we get to that. There's a couple of pictures in there I want to show people. Frederick says, can you age hard cheeses too long at 13 Celsius? How would you tell? Is there a bitterness or specific off flavor to be aware of? I haven't really heard of over aging cheeses. They just get better with age, like a good wine. Bitterness tends to be present in cheeses that are not mature, underaged. When you mature them longer, the bitterness goes away. No real off flavors. They'll just get stronger and stronger and stronger if you're talking about hard cheeses. So that's kind of what to look for there. Underaged is worse than overaging, if that makes sense. So let's go to the gallery. I do have a couple of pictures, and hopefully this will all work. Yep, that looks pretty cool. Is that side by side? Let me just see if that's actually working on the YouTubes. Sorry for doing this, but we'll... Oh, there we go. Yep, it is working. Right, so fantastic. So this one's from Frederick, who I just answered a question from. This is his cheese fridge. He said there's about 22 kilos of cheese in his fridge. That is most awesome. I can't really read what some of them are. No, I can't read that, unfortunately, but great job. Or maybe I can. Let's see if I can. Whoop. Can I go in? There's some Gouda. Double Gloucester. Oh, can't read what that is. What's that one? There's a Jarlsberg. Oh, let's have a look. There's another Jarlsberg down there. There's a Red Leicester in that wax there. And I can't see the rest. But fantastic job, Frederick. You are a cheese fanatic. That's great. This one here is from Greta. And sorry, Greta, I can't pronounce your last name. She's made a raw milk camembert from my recipe. And doesn't that look absolutely fantastic? I love the creaminess and all that. It just looks excellent. And thank you for the super chat, whoever did that. We'll get to that one in a second. So, yeah, the Greta's creamy camembert, she says it tasted divine. It was absolutely fantastic. And thank you for sending the pictures in, Frederick and Greta. If you've got any pictures for the gallery, the Ask the Cheeseman gallery, then you can go to the About tab of the YouTube channel, and there is an email address, and you can send it to that email address. Please don't send it anywhere else. There's only one place I go looking for gallery photos, and that's that email address on the About page of my YouTube channel. I think you might have to look at it from a browser on a desktop. I'm not sure if the mobile app would actually show you. I don't think it does. So you have to do it from a browser. So go there, grab the email address, send me the photos, and I will show them on the next Ask the Cheeseman show that turns up. Anyway, so let's get rid of that and get back to me at my big, beautiful head. Okay, so we've got another super chat that came in, and that was from Drew. Thank you, Drew. Really appreciate it. Drew says, Gavin and Kim, I just wanted to say thank you for being the best cheese channel on YouTube. Thank you very much, Drew. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the $10 super chat. We've got 10 minutes to go. Let me see if I can get a few more questions answered. I've lost my place, so I'm just going to pick the first available place. Where is it? John's said something. I'm not sure if this is in relation to another question from before, but Norse, I can't even say it. I call it my sauce, but that's they're all the same sort of thing. It's a caramelized whey cheese. It's got dark tannish caramel sweet. It is indeed. And I've got a recipe for that somewhere. Kim, if you can find the recipe for my sauce, that would be fantastic. Pop that up there for whoever's asking for it. JW says, hey, Gavin, hope you're doing good. Watching from the UK, just want to know if you have heterochromia iridium, different colored irises, or is it just the camera? No, I do. No, yes. Yes, I do have heterochromia iridium. I have one eye that is green and one eye that is blue. The green one has a bit of hazel in it too, so it's a bit of a strange one. But yes, if you're watching in 1080p and sometimes you can see some of my 4K videos, yes, it's very evident in 4K. So yes, I do have heterochromia iridium. It's a genetic mutation. So you could call me a mutant, the cheese mutant, if you like. Don't call me that. That's terrible. Okay, Kevin's asked, have you posted the Appenzella recipe yet? No, I haven't, Kevin. I'm still working on it. I'm still washing it. I want to do the making and tasting video in one big video. So it's got about a month to go of washing. I'm washing it every 2-3 days. The Brevibacterial linens that I put in the initial wash keeps coming back, which is great. It's supposed to. I don't want it going soft. It's quite firm, which is really good. So it's working out well, but I'm going to post the whole video, including the taste test, Kevin. So it's an all-in-one recipe. And yeah, I may have to come up with an original name for Appenzella. But yeah, I'm washing it with the mead that I made, the spiced mead, and it's turning out very nice, starting to smell very, very nice indeed. Thanks for the question. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Here's a question from Kumar Kami. He says, good day. How long does bee linens take to start appearing? Usually within about 14 days, you'll see that the paste starts to change from a white color to an ivory color. Depends on the cheese you're making. Then it'll go from ivory to a little light orange, and then it won't go red per se. If you're looking for a red color, that bee linens, even though they call it red mold, it really isn't red-ish. It kind of goes an orangey sort of color, depending on the strain of bee linens you're using. There are a few out there. Yeah, so it slowly changes color over time. your cheese does when you've inoculated it with Brevibacteria linens. So thank you, Kuma, for your question. John says all those sparkles are Gavin's aura from eating all that heavenly cheese. Yeah, I know. Sorry for the sparkles. It's something to do with the camera. I've got to check it out. It could be the video card that I'm using could have gone belly up, but I'll make sure that the next show, it'll be all good. Okay. Next question is from... okay, this one's from Shannon. Shannon asks, what is a good hard cheese to start with? It will be my first one. I don't have a cheese press, but I do have weights. What size and type of cheese mold should I start with? Great question, Shannon. May I recommend Caerphilly? Very simple cheese to make, very quick. It only takes 3 weeks to mature. Great flavor, quite salty though, but it's a very nice cheese. The mold size, if you're using my recipe, I use 10 litres of milk, so you'll need a mold that holds at least, I think it's about 1.2 kilos minimum. I can show you a picture of the mold that I use if I can find it. You've probably seen it in my videos many, many times. It's a 160 mil. Here we go. Let me have a look. Can I do it? Will it do it? And there we go. Just hide your message there. So Shannon, this is the cheese basket I use. It's 165 mils across the top. It's Australian made. It's only sold here in Australia. Hopefully that you can get something equivalent, but that's the size. So it's 165 millimeters wide, 140 mils high, and it has a follower. And yeah, you can press it with whatever you want to press. Do not immerse it in boiling water. It will warp. I tend to wash mine in the dishwasher first and then spray it all over with white vinegar, and that kills any molds and yeast that may be lurking on that. And that works very, very well indeed. Now, we've only got 4 minutes to go, so I'll see any other questions I can squeeze in there. Ruth amplified on her question. She said, small ripening box, tried to ask, is it okay for the cheese size touch? Yeah, okay. So I got that, and I think I answered that okay. And next question from KV says, is kosher salt okay for cheese making? Indeed it is. You're looking for non-iodized cheese salt. So any salt that doesn't have iodine in it will work well for cheese making. Okay. A suggestion from Chris says, put the Gouda over some French onion soup. Indeed, that is a great use. So French onion soup with the cheese floating on top, absolutely lovely. Trout says, sorry to hear about Teddy. That's okay, mate. These things happen. He was getting on. Andres, I think that's how. Is it possible to make hard cheese from evaporated milk? No, it's not. You cannot. It's had all the goodness sucked out of it, so you won't be able to make any cheese with evaporated milk. Okay, moving right along. Next question. Also, no questions. This one's from Richard, and Richard says, have you given any thought to making a Longhorn style Colby cheese? Longhorn style Colby cheese is just a long aged, very similar. There's another style Colby cheese called not Passchendaele, no, can't remember. Pinna Cotta, so I can't remember. Anyway, it's Longhorn style Colby cheese. It's just a long aged Colby. So Kim, if you can pop the recipe up for Colby cheese, that would be fantastic. And you just age it longer, and it matures and gets a stronger flavor. So yeah, that's what you do. John has a question. I wonder if there's any option of making a whey, brie, or camembert cheese so that the cheese is truly dark, caramel, sweet, and melty. could be nice to experiment with, John. I don't know if I'd make it, but yeah, that you could give it a go. Danielle says, I have a question about the Borson cream cheese recipe. What is the idea behind the 3 whole cloves of garlic in the milk while it's warming? That just imparts a flavour. That is a little bit different than the garlic puree that I used in the herb mix. So extra flavour, that's all it does. But yeah, just try it. You'll like it. It works. It's great. Bill says, can you please explain the use of lipase in hard cheese? I enjoy sharp cheese. Can lipase be used in Parmesan, Asiago besides cheddar? Well, it's actually technically not used in cheddar. Lipase is prevalent in raw milk, and when you pasteurize it, most of the lipase dissipates or gets destroyed in the enzyme gets destroyed in the pasteurization process. So yes, indeed, with hard cheeses, like if you're making it at home, Asiago and Parmesan, you add in some lipase. If you want mild lipase, use calf lipase. If you want strong lipase, then use kid lipase from goats, and you can buy that online. But yes, definitely, I always put even in the cease and desist cheese that I made, there was a bit of lipase in there as well, and that really did bring the flavour home. It was great. Okay. We are at 9 o'clock, so I'm going to wrap up the stream. Sorry I couldn't get to all of your questions. Thank you so much for everybody on the stream today. Really appreciate all the super chats too. Thank you for all those who donated to the cheese making cause. It's been absolutely fantastic. And I promise I will fix the video and all the little sparkly things won't be there next week, even if I have to change cameras. But anyway, I'll get to the bottom of it and see what the heck's causing that problem. But at least the picture's fairly clear. Now, don't forget that you can, if you are in Australia and you want it shipped in Australia, pop over to littlegreenworkshops.com.au. You can also support the channel via hitting the join button down below, YouTube memberships, or if you want some perks, then pop over to Patreon, and Kim's going to pop the link up soon, I hope, Kim. Put the Patreon link up there, and you can, there are different tiers, and you get different rewards. What else? If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and give this video a thumbs up. That would be absolutely fantastic. That just helps the algorithm bring the video to the forefront. Look out for some new videos coming out soon, and thanks, Curd Nerds, for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.